Today on GrowthShares, let's analyze and see whether Nvidia Corporation is a great long-term investment. Nvidia Corporation is an American multinational technology company based in Santa Clara, California. It's a software and fabless company which designs GPUs, APIs for data science and high-performance computing, as well as SoCs for the mobile computing and automotive market. Nvidia is a global leader in AI hardware and software from edge to cloud computing and has expanded its presence into gaming.
I've divided this analysis into three major factors: business, investment, and valuation. Each factor is then divided into 14 smaller metrics. Each of the three factors and their 14 metrics are given different weight, together adding to 100% of the analysis. They'll be graded on a scale from 0 to 10, with 0 being the worst and 10 being the best. When the analysis is complete, I'll give a final score. My analysis takes a long-term view of the company. That means years. Let's first look at the business. Everything starts with what the company actually does. It's more than just numbers on a spreadsheet. That's why 45% of the analysis depends on the business. Something that makes $1 billion a year might sound nice, but how is it using its resources to make that billion? Fortunately, that can be quantified. There are 8 metrics that I use to measure the business, and we'll dive into them right now. How much is the company growing?
Nvidia has a growth rate of 21.18%.
Which means a score of 8. Is the company using its resources effectively?
Nvidia has margins of 43.77%.
Which means a score of 10. Is the company operating efficiently?
Nvidia has operations of 33.9.
Which means a score of 0. How is the company using its invested capital?
Nvidia has returns of 29.1%.
Which means a score of 10. How much debt does the company use?
Nvidia has a utilization of 9.6.
Which means a score of 10. Does the company pay out a dividend?
Nvidia pays a 0.9% dividend.
Which means a score of 0. Does the company have good governance?
Nvidia has an ESG risk rating of 12.7.
Which means a score of 8. How close is the company to a monopoly?
Nvidia has primary market dominance.
Which gives us a score of 9.
When we add up all 8 business metrics together, we get a score of 6.06.
Next, let's look at the investment. This factor looks at the company solely as an investment, as if rendering the company down to just ticker symbols on the screen. That's why 22% of the analysis depends on its investment score. How are others seeing the company from a trader and analyst point of view? What are the numbers telling us when it comes to this? There are 5 metrics that I use to measure the investments, and we'll dive into them right now. How well has the company's stock performed?
Nvidia has a performance ratio of 5.8.
Which means a score of 10. How do traders see the company?
Nvidia has a range of negative 29.75%.
Which means a score of 0. Are investors betting against the stock?
Nvidia has a short interest of 1.4%.
Which means a score of 8. What do other analysts think of the company?
Nvidia has a buy recommendation of 55%.
Giving us a score of 5. Do big firms own the company?
Nvidia has ownership of 65.7%.
Which means a score of 8.
When we add up all 5 investment metrics together, we get a score of 6.09.
Finally, let's look at the valuation. Valuation is simple. It takes everything we've talked about and puts into a single number, the price at which we would be willing to buy the company's stock. That's why 33% of the analysis depends on its fair value price. At what price is the company worth pursuing? There's only one metric that I use to measure the valuation, and we'll dive into it right now. What is the most you should pay for the company?
Nvidia has a fair value price of $118.97 per share, which I consider to be expensive.
Which means a score of 0. As a refresher, here are all 14 metric scores. Finally, we'll add the 3 factors together to get the final score.
Based on my complete analysis of Nvidia Corporation, I give a final score of 4.06, which makes it a below average long-term investment.
So you've made it this far. Shoot me an email. I'd love to get in touch with you and talk more. If you want to see me analyze more companies, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and share this video with other investors. And as always, take care of your money.